So what's inside?
I don't know. Card. Oh, wait, I got it. It's pink.
Oh, it's
Bet you didn't see that coming.
okay.
Coming up on Need to Know, we are talking everything Cherry Blossom Festival. And it's the first night of Passover, so we are talking BBB recipes. And don't forget, Easter is coming up, so we are delving into the world of hot cross buns. That and everything else you need to know. Welcome back to another episode of Need to Know. I'm your host, Gemma Stafford. I'm a professional chef, cookbook author, and the creator of Bigger Bolder Baking. And as always, I have my lovely sidekick with me, Ami Shukla, who is the head of culinary here at Bigger Bolder Baking. Hi, Ami.
Hello.
Do you like that sidekick?
Yes, I do.
Every week I'm going to call you something different. I feel like that's what Conan does to annoy his what's her name?
Well, guess what? Not annoyed.
Not annoyed. Well, I'll get you. Don't worry. I've only started. I'm glad you found that funny. Ami, what is this? Do you know what? This is a really exciting time. April is such a fantastic month for food festivals, a lot for holidays. What's going on in your world?
Well, I wanted to talk about Cherry Blossom Festival.
Lovely.
Which is just about starting in Japan. It's very famous in Japan. It's also big in Washington, D.C. But going back to Japan, we have these wonderful treats here. I want to talk a little bit about Cherry Blossom Festival and some of the foods that are eaten. A few years ago, I was lucky enough to be able to go to Japan, and there was all of these wonderful cherry blossom treats. There was cherry blossom sodas. There was they call it sakura, which means cherry blossom, and
that makes sense.
And you can have pickled cherry blossoms in mochi wrapped in pickled cherry blossoms. You can have cherry blossom extract in drinks or in cocktails. And
I don't think I've ever had this before.
Really?
I don't think. I know I haven't. I've never had a cherry blossom flavor something. I honestly didn't know that it was a flavor. Should I know that?
Yes. Well, we're going to get a chance to try some of that. It's really beautiful. It's this time in Japan, we're all over. These trees are bursting with blooms. It's pink. It's gorgeous. People come from all over the world to go walk through the streets. And one of the things that we don't have today, but there's a special treat called hanami dango, which is it's like 3 balls of mochi on a stick. And traditionally around cherry blossom season, they have red, green, and white. And I was trying to look for a picture of us eating one, but I think we liked it a lot because the only picture is of us holding an empty stick in our hand.
Empty stick in hand. Yeah. That's and what do those colors stand for? Like, what do they represent?
I think just the colors of the cherry.
The colors of the trees.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Well, I mean, we all know, you don't have to go to Japan to know that iconic like cherry blossom tree, especially this time of year when they're like just like bursting with those beautiful pink flowers.
Yeah.
Japan is high. It's like the next big place that Kevin and I want to go.
Yeah.
We were going to do it before George, then there was George, and then but I actually think, I don't know, we might go by ourselves, or maybe we'll take him. But it's supposed to be amazing.
It's really amazing, and if you get a chance to go around this time of year, I highly recommend it. It's so beautiful. But I think just about any time, it's gorgeous. Not only in Japan, but Washington D.C. is also very famous, and San Francisco and Vancouver. I know probably other places in the world they do these. They have cherry blossom trees, and they have a big festival with lots of food and walking around. So if you can't get to Japan, but you're on the East or West Coast, you have a chance to experience cherry blossom festivals.
Wow. I'd love to try that one year.
Yeah. And also in DC, I was just reading about how they have, like, a lot of the restaurants in the area have cocktails, ice creams, desserts. A lot of people, some are colored pink, just for the blossoms, and some are actually flavored with cherry blossom. And here we have some things for us to try.
Lovely. You're going to have to tell me, describe to me what I'm going to be eating.
Okay, so let's start with this. So this is a very classic. It's called a sakura mochi. And it is mochi, which is rice flour.
Love mochi.
It should be filled with a red bean paste. We're about to find out, but traditionally it is. And then wrapped in this green leaf is a cherry blossom leaf.
Oh, no way. I was wondering what the leaf was.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
And you go out for all of it.
Mm-hmm. It's, the flavor of the red bean paste and the sort of a little bit of the tart pickled flavor from the cherry blossom leaf it's really nice. I just think the balance is so good.
It's a bit salty as well, the leaf, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's so interesting. You know what it reminds me of? It's really good. And you know what else it kind of tastes like? It kind of tastes like if pink were a flavor. That's how pink would taste like bright, very floral.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of like that profile of somewhere between like a mix of like rose water and geranium.
Yes, geranium.
Yeah.
That's the flavor.
Geranium.
It's so, that's exactly
when
it.
you get because some geraniums, they're not all like, it's not edible, but like with the one type of
it's called rose geranium.
Rose geranium. Oh my gosh, yeah, of
and
course.
it's actually very lemony, but this almost tastes like how a geranium smells.
Yeah, it does, absolutely, especially with the leaf. So you're kind of like picturing it all together. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I love the balance.
That's very interesting.
It kind of actually makes me want to wash it down with.
What do you got there?
I don't know. Oh, did you want to talk about?
No.
Oh, so we've got cherry lime flavor, and we have
look at that can
sakura cola.
Shout out
cherry
to Joey.
Blossom Look at that.
Joey picked up all this stuff for us.
Look at that cherry blossom cola
behind the camera. Thank you, Joey.
Let's try this one.
Okay.
Shall we? Okay.
Do you know what I have noticed actually just in the last few days is a lot of TikTok videos around the Cherry Blossom Festival and then also about food. So like this is interesting because I just did not know this was a thing. I feel like I should have known. But I saw somebody make a cherry blossom tiramisu.
Oh, I saw that too. It looked gorgeous.
Isn't that gorgeous?
So beautiful.
And also cherry blossom inspired bridal showers. And we have those videos that are in the show notes. But people get all in. But like, think about a theme. Like you think about like holidays and you think about maybe like certain things. But like I would never have thought like cherry blossom is such a lovely spring theme.
100%. And it's just, everything is so like, look at how beautiful and pink this is. It has a nice flavor.
This is yummy. George would love this.
It's like sweet and sparkly, but there's like a little bit of like something. There's a different flavor.
Sakura cola. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
And our chocolates?
Yeah. Aw. I love how like pink everything is.
Isn't that pretty? I'm not a pinky person, even though we're both actually wearing pink. But I'm not.
Yeah. So what's inside?
I don't know. Card. Oh, wait, I got it. Pink.
Oh.
But you didn't see that coming.
Okay. And for our final treat, so we have a different kind of sakura mochi.
Oh, wait, what am I eating? What's that?
This is sakura mochi. So this is another, this is also a mochi flavored with cherry blossom.
Oh.
But not the traditional.
Not the traditional one with the leaf.
Yeah. But I'm going to go ahead and give it a try.
Lovely.
So this one, it's sort of like so it's like kind of, it's more chewy. I don't think it's filled with anything. We're about to find out. This is just an unfilled cherry blossom flavored mochi.
So I was in Starbucks the other day and it reminded me that it was cherry blossom season because I looked at their menu and Starbucks keeps me up to date on everything that's going on in the world. And I saw they have an iced cherry chai on their menu. Mm-hmm. And so I looked it up and it is black tea with cinnamon, cloves and other spices. I'm not sure what that means.
Chai. Because it's nice cherry chai.
That's true.
Yeah. Yep.
And then topped with a cherry cream cherry cream cold foam. Mm-hmm. And then crunchy cherry crunch on top.
Yeah. Something my daughter would love.
Honestly, I'm thinking like of all these 14-year-olds standing in Starbucks getting this drink.
100%.
It is pink drink. But I mean, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds
I just think
though.
it's like sometimes nice to just be able to like, everything's, it's warm and springy and the flowers are blooming and it's fun to eat pink things while you're looking at pink things.
That's true. It is. Do you know what I was just reminded of? Not from Starbucks, but just because from the scheduling from Bigger Bolder Baking and everything, Passover.
Oh, yes. Passover's about to start. Mm-hmm. Yes. And actually, speaking of Bigger Bolder Baking, traditionally with Passover, we avoid, my family celebrates Passover, and we avoid eating any leavened bread, and we avoid grains in general. So Bigger Bolder Baking has all these really wonderful recipes that you could make for Passover desserts, like flourless chocolate cake. There's, of course, macaroons, the coconut macaroons, which are, you know, uh, very traditional to eat during
Are they
Passover.
really?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
just
know that.
yeah. Not the French macaron, but
No.
the coconut macaroons. We also have a recipe for homemade matzah crackers, which if you're very observant, you have to get them from a special place. But if you're not so observant and you just want to make your own matzah, we have a lovely recipe, and it's really so good. So there's so many great recipes on BBB for Passover, and just flourless recipes, custards, all sorts of wonderful things. But also, speaking of holidays, Easter is also coming up.
Yeah, so in the mix, we're going to talk about hot cross buns, which is, I adore hot cross buns. Easter was a big holiday for me growing up in Ireland. It's a big one now, because George really is all in on Easter. And when it comes down to it, you think like, oh, like that's what, I grew up, we're celebrating Easter and it was a whole big thing and you had a meal and then dessert and but then I just realized every holiday comes down to the candy. It's just all about the candy. It's the eggs, and then what's in the eggs is the candy. Yeah. So that's why George loves it so much. But it's a big deal. George's nanny is also from Ireland, and she is, one of her favorite holidays is Easter. So it's a big holiday in our house. Hot cross buns are something that, as a child, I definitely didn't appreciate that much. They were around in the springtime. March, April, they were in every bakery. For those of you who have never had a hot cross bun, they are a sweetened dough it's a sweetened bun that is kind of an enriched yeasted dough. It's spiced with different spices, a mixed spice and cinnamon, and they're batch baked. Which means all the rolls are put together like little rolls. They batch bake, and then you kind of have a representation of the cross, which is either a dough that's made separately that you can put on the top, or you can do icing, which is what Ami and I have done in previous years, is doing a cross with the icing on the top. But it has that like iconic bun with the cross on top. They've been around for a very long time, believed to have like originated in the 12th century, and in England. Which makes sense because we got a lot of our influence from England and British food. And it was believed that a monk actually marked the buns with a cross and handed them out on Good Friday. And they say there's kind of like a belief that on Good Friday, if you make them on Good Friday, they will never spoil.
Oh, really?
Yeah, isn't that funny? And you know what? I actually found when I was kind of looking into hot cross buns, because I only know so much. I know that they're delicious. And I know that we have them in springtime and Easter, but I didn't know a huge amount of the background behind them. So there's a lot of folklore, but there's also a lot of like really interesting facts. So the story goes that sailors actually used to take them traveling on long journeys for protection.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure it gets protection from what. Was it weather or pirates? Or I'm not sure.
I don't know why they dry out. Do they float?
I don't know. Maybe you could use it as a weapon if it got hard. If somebody jumped aboard your ship. Okay, here's another one. Hanging a hot cross bun in the kitchen was said to ensure that the household would be safe from bad luck and fires.
Wow.
So stick it up in your kitchen, which was funny. And the buns are also associated with friendship. Sharing, this makes sense actually, sharing one with somebody is thought to be a guarantee of a strong bond, which makes sense when you kind of think about the share and tear style of bread that it is, that you bring it somewhere and then you tear and you share. But it's lovely. I adore it. I have to say, in Ireland, we always had hot cross buns with butter in the middle. Even though they would have a glaze on top or whatever, you would always have them, you'd cut it open and then you would have it with butter. I adore hot cross buns. So today you can actually see like really, more modern version of a hot cross bun. They have chocolate, they have caramel, there's even savory versions. We found a TikTok video and we're going to share this in the show notes. So a Vegemite and cheese hot cross bun and s'mores with Nutella and marshmallows.
Wow.
Which sounds awesome.
It sounds amazing.
And I have to say, so we did this year, which I'd never heard of before until we surfaced this recipe, or the idea of this recipe, was a chocolate hot cross bun.
Yes, and that was so good. I have to say, it was like really like, it wasn't too sweet. It had like sort of a dense flavor and texture from the chocolate that was like, I don't know. I can't quite describe it. I think about like a chocolate cupcake being like very sweet, right? But this bun was like, it had just the right amount of sweetness. So it was still kind of savory and in a certain way, kind of salty and so good.
Yeah, like it was a yeasted roll, and then what we did was we put a lot of like chocolate bar throughout it to make it like all melty and delicious. I loved that. I thought that was really fun. And one of my questions was kind of, because we're talking about holidays, and we're talking about holidays that are steeped in tradition, that the importance of sticking with tradition. Like, it is 2025, I mean, and all of these holidays, even if you don't observe them, they're the history and the traditions of them are shared on the internet throughout the world. And it's like, where do you have to stick with tradition? Can you modernize it? I think it definitely comes down to the person. Like, I'm okay with with evolving the tradition, like I celebrate Easter, we do Christmas, there's St. Patrick's Day, and within those holidays, there's very traditional foods, but bigger, bolder baking, we've always done a twist on things. Right. So like, I think, why not have a hot cross, chocolate hot cross bun and caramel with marshmallows and Nutella, right. And it definitely just kind of brings it up to today a little bit.
I think so. I mean, it's an interesting thought because there is something about traditional foods, especially if you stick to only having them at holiday time, that really bring you back. It becomes grounding. It's this touchstone. Oh, it's these flavors. It's these aromas. It's this thing that reminds me in a very sensory way that it's this time of year, it's this holiday. And so sometimes I'll see things like, oh, suddenly you can get hot cross buns all through the year. And I think, should you? Or should you just stick to that? Because that's what deepens the experience.
Funny, isn't it?
And also like how much, I love those chocolate hot cross buns, but in fact, I never actually had a hot cross bun until I started working here. So, so I don't have a tradition with that food. So for me, I could eat any hot cross bun any time of the year. But we have certain things, like there's certain things that I'll just like latkes, for example. I'll make them once a year, and that taste reminds us of Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Or Passover. There's certain things that we'll have. Matzah, not that those are that delicious, but like we'll have those just at that time of year. And so we have this sort of, we know it in our heads, it's this time of year, but then you have a taste and you feel it. So I do kind of think, like, as I was looking at things like the cheese-filled hot cross buns or the Vegemite hot cross buns, and they all seem really good, but I feel like if you're going off tradition, that's fine. I mean, also food evolves, people evolve, taste evolve. But maybe on the table, you should also have the traditional one.
I think I'm with you. I do love these ideas. I think it's really great. When you do have it once a year, I generally want like the traditional hot cross bun. I want, if I have barmbrack, for in Ireland, around Halloween, we have barmbrack. It only shows up in bakeries around Halloween, and then it's gone.
Remind us again what
barmbrack is? Yeah. So it's a fruit studded bread. It's a fruit cake, but it's leavened with yeast. Mm-hmm. And it's a bit lighter. Yeah. It's softer. It's really delicious. But we only have it in Ireland around the holidays. It commercially made in shops and in bakeries. So I don't want anybody because you only have it the one time, it's lovely to have the traditional then. It's like with your Christmas dinner, like you're so used to having like a certain dinner that you don't like then, hey, this Christmas we're having lasagna. It's like, no, we're not. We're having turkey and ham and stuffing, just like my mom used to make it.
Yeah. And, I didn't grow up with a whole lot of traditions. I mean, we had things, things we ate, but my parents were not big on tradition. And I think coming to this country as immigrants, having left a lot of their traditions behind, they, some people will raise their children and really hold on tight to, traditions from the old country. And my parents were more like, here we are, we're in a new country, we're in a new world, we're doing things, the way we want to do them. And, so a lot of traditions from India became very sort of lighthearted, it's kind of almost an afterthought. It's Diwali. We're going to have one nice dinner, but it was different every year. It wasn't really anything particular. And as a result of that, I wanted my kids to have some kinds of traditions. So I've actually turned that around into just trying to do some of the same things over the years, because I want that depth of experience for them. I want them to feel like these are these traditions. So I find that my kids are the ones who demand certain things. If I want to go off script, they're like, no, like that.
Yeah.
We're going to have this at this time of year. We're going to have this one particular meal. We're going to have this. And they want that because it means something to them.
I think that makes total sense to me. I wonder, because both your mom and dad came from India, was it a little bit different? Like Kevin is from California, I'm from Ireland. And because there's not two of us that are Irish and I'm the only one representing, I definitely am kind of like not enforcing, but I'm definitely,
more conscious of
the traditions, because he's half Irish.
Right.
And he'll tell everybody that he'll say to people, do you know that I'm Irish? And he looks no more Irish than the man on the moon. But I will tell you that
I've seen those pictures of George and those pictures of you
as a baby.
You look just like you and George. Look so
I can see that. People say that to me. Yeah.
Oh man.
I did just sign him up for Irish dancing.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. I tell you, because he saw at the farmers market in Studio City, he saw a lady Irish dancing, and now he's obsessed.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Side note.
So we're going to go straight into the Bold Baking Hotline, and we have some questions around hot cross buns, and this is good because it's a yeasted dough. Not everybody's familiar with it. So let's see. Well, I'll start with our first question. So this is a great question from Leslie M and Sue. Two different questions, or two different people with the same question. On biggerbolderbaking.com, what are the spices that go into making mixed spice?
I can answer this. We did this on biggerbolderbaking.com, and you can find that recipe on the site for mixed spice. But it's almost equal parts of all of the baking spices. I want to say it's cinnamon, allspice, nutmeg, mace, cloves, coriander, and ginger.
So yeah, and so I will use this a lot growing up, and it's similar. Some people ask me, I think bar one spice, it's very similar to pumpkin pie spice.
Yeah, pumpkin pie spice or apple pie spice. I think I don't think either of those have mace in them or coriander.
Yeah, there is one. Yeah, you're right about the coriander. Yeah, but it's like that little mix, and failing all that, like we always say cinnamon. Because it's that warm, like spicy flavor. It also kind of like when you taste it, it's the same kind of reaction you have. It's like, oh, this could be mixed spice, or it could be cinnamon.
Right. Yeah, in a pinch, absolutely. Like if a recipe asks for like 2 teaspoons of mixed spice and you don't have many things, you could use mostly cinnamon and a little bit of a few other things.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of people have ginger, cinnamon, and nutmeg. So a little mix of those. Get creative.
Our next question is from Jan, Callum, and Elsa, and they wanted to ask about hot cross buns. Can you make the dough the day before?
Yes, and I would actually advise it. With yeasted doughs, if you're going to make it the day before, even cinnamon rolls, I always do. So you make your dough, you shape your dough, you put it in the pan to proof. But you put it in the pan, cover it up with cling wrap, make sure it's nicely covered over, no air is getting at it, into the fridge. Overnight. Next day, take it out. You will need extra proofing time, so just be aware of that, because you have to take the chill off it, and then it has to grow even more. Then continue on as normal. Because things like cinnamon rolls and hot cross buns are so much work, I always say do all that the day before and then bake it off fresh the next day. Makes life so much easier. And I will tell you, something like a hot cross bun, just like a cinnamon roll, or bread rolls even, best eaten the day they're baked. So that's my advice to you. Do all the heavy lifting the day prior.
Yeah, why not?
Especially if you're going to be having like Easter dinner with lamb and potatoes and all the things,
Final question, Gemma, and this is from Colleen V. And she wanted to know, can I replace the fruit for chocolate chips, and would it be the same amount?
Yes and yes. Great idea. This is what we were talking about. She was one step ahead of us. Yes, absolutely. You know, often things, you know, it's often like with like, you know, like do a similar weight and it'll be totally fine. Yeah. And if you wanted to leave fruit out altogether, then you could leave it out. That's not what's going to break this recipe. Altering the other ingredients, yes, but altering a mix-in often in your baking is not the be all and end all. So you can get really creative with that stuff. Yeah. And if you want to put in nuts instead of raisins, stuff like that.
Candied nuts would be good.
Candied nuts and caramel. Remember we just read about somebody doing caramel?
Yeah.
There you go.
And also, you know, the chocolate hot cross bun recipe that we have on, it's
live.
The chocolate hot cross bun that we have on Bigger Bolder Baking has a chocolate dough, but if you were to just replace the fruit with chocolate chips, you'd have a sort of a different, lighter white dough with the chocolate chips in there. So that's kind of a nice variation as well.
Also yummy. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, get creative.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except don't get creative with my hot cross buns. So, like we just talked about. Get creative with your ones. Don't get creative with my ones.
We need those traditional flavors.
I only get it once a year, people. And on that note, Ami, as always, that was lovely. I love a good holiday episode.
Absolutely.
And that's it for this week. Thank you so much for everybody who tuned in to watch us live on YouTube or listen wherever you listen to podcasts. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you back here again really soon with a brand new episode.
From HRN and the Bold Baking Network, you are watching the Need to Know Baking Entertainment podcast.